I rattle on.
I know, I love it. It's
Okay.
better that than.
For the Nikki Kraft Show.
Nikki Kraft Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nikki Kraft.
Hello.
Who is the band for the Nikki Kraft
The
Show?
Mystic Knights. Yeah, you're getting. People have been wanting a Boingo reunion for a long time. Who would have thought that on my internet show?
So basically your entry song would be something like I
get a big curly mustache
on brass,
and
because that's the kind of stuff we used to play. All right.
Hello, Facebook. I'm here with my friend Danny Elfman. Best friend?
Besties.
Oh, wow, thank you. And we are here because we are about to celebrate 25 years of Nightmare Before Christmas. And in a few weeks, you have now 3 shows at the Hollywood Bowl. And so we're going to answer some questions from fans. Actually, tell us a little about the shows at the Hollywood Bowl. They're not just concerts.
What's kind of unique for this show is that there's 10 songs, and all the songs are sung live with orchestra. So we're doing our best to stay in sync with the characters and the pictures, but all the music and all the songs are live.
Yep. And obviously you wrote the music and the songs, and were the singing voice of Jack Skellington and Shock?
Well, I did some of the smaller characters. I did Beryl and one of the vampires
I did
and
not know that.
this and that. You know, it was a small group of us did all the voices.
And a few of them are actually back for the show.
Yeah, Greg Proops, who was an original, is back in the show, as well as, of course, Catherine O'Hara as Sally. She was the original Sally, and Ken Page as Oogie Boogie.
Who's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone you've named is incredible. But Ken, it's like, there's Oogie.
There's Oogie. It's like he's the only one amongst us that didn't seem to age at all.
Well, he's really a robot.
Yes, that answers
I don't know if I
a
could say
lot.
that on the internet.
Or he's got some type of satanic contract.
That could be.
Or it's
he seems too nice of a guy.
Seems too nice.
Oh, those are the
But
ones.
you never know. Or it could be like a kind of Dorian Gray kind of situation.
Yeah, if you go in his attic,
Oh,
there's a
he's
very
got a
old
picture.
portrait.
It looks so.
All right, so some fans have submitted questions, and this one seems appropriate to start with. It's Caitlin Lacasse on Facebook, wants to know how it feels now that Nightmare is turning 25.
Nightmare, it's particularly a treat to be celebrating the 25th anniversary, because Nightmare is a project that I really loved, I worked really hard on, and when it came out, it looked like it was going to have a very short lifespan. And so it uniquely kind of got revived, a second life. And in films, that's extraordinarily rare. So I feel particularly lucky that with Nightmare Before Christmas, that it's the one thing I've worked on that in fact did develop a following after it was released. It took many years, and then we kind of realized that this thing is actually getting more popular all the time. And so I started doing this show called Elfman Burton, where I do 15 suites of music from Tim Burton shows, and toured that around the world. And I would always end with a Nightmare Before Christmas suite. And it was kind of clear that it was a popular, or the popular suite with the audience. And that's when people started going, maybe we ought to try Nightmare live and see if it works. And we really didn't know if we could do it. It's hard.
I can imagine, yeah, you're doing it live to picture.
Live to picture and counting bars and beats, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to just coming out on stage and singing. And of course, when I sang in the movie, you know, I'm in front of a mic in a studio and do different, you know, record one verse, pause, record the second verse, choose between them, different takes. But here it's live, and I'm looking at a counter, and specifically I'm going to come in, beat 3 of bar 157, you know, is my entrance.
Yeah.
And there's no hedging around that. So it's like really paying attention, counting, and all these things that I'm not used to.
Well, then Rachel Mullen's question, I think, is fitting. She asked on Facebook, how nervous are you prior to stepping out on stage? And I like, she just knows you're nervous. It's not are you, it's how nervous.
Yeah, very nervous, but I've always been very nervous. I've had stage fright my whole life. One of the reasons when I stopped performing with Oingo Boingo, everybody asked me for ages, like, oh my God, it must feel like really weird that you're not performing. And I go, no, I like not performing. I don't have to go through that intense anxiety that even after 23 years of performing, it never changed. It never got easier. So it's the fact that I've done it a number of times definitely helps. But the first show must have been 7 years ago at Albert Hall. Does that sound about right? 6, 7 years? When I had to come out for the first time ever singing live Jack Skellington. I almost couldn't do it. First off, I hadn't sung publicly in 18 years. Secondly, I had no idea if any of this show was going to work. It was the first time ever these suites were being played. And I walked out there and had one of the best nights of my life.
I love that. Desiree Page wants to know what your favorite Jack song to sing is.
You know, it's always hard to choose favorites, but I think there was also another question that asked me something about that.
Yes, Ashley Rodriguez remembers in 2016 you said that the town meeting song is your favorite.
Yeah, and weirdly...
Desiree should have just asked Ashley. Can you guys call each other? Desiree, or Ashley has all the answers.
It was always a favorite of mine because I love Cole Porter and I love Gilbert and Sullivan. You know, these are just like kind of heroes from the past. And they both had the ability to write repartee really well. And the thing about town meeting is there's all this up, back, and it's very conversational, and at the same time, very precise. This is a thing called a present. The whole thing starts with a box. A box, is a building, a box, so delightful, a box. And I just really enjoyed writing it and performing it when we get it right, which we've done most of the time, is just really fun because it's spot on. It's that kind of thing that I might have seen in some old thing in the 20s or 30s.
It's like a conversation song.
A conversational kind of a song. And then I like the end when it's like, when Jack gets the fact that they're not getting it. And he comes up with this idea, well, and starts telling this story. So it's just really fun, that story at the end. Yeah. The ruler of this Christmas land is a fearsome king with a deep, mighty voice. That's what I've come to understand. And it's just really fun to do. And so that's my favorite.
That's a great answer. Switching from Nightmare, Ian Seguin said that you were the inspiration to start learning how to play music, and one of the first things he learned was Breakfast Machine, which I think was the first thing I learned, actually. So my parents thank you for that. He's curious what the first piece of music you ever set out to learn was.
The first piece of music I ever set out to learn, okay. Before I was a composer, before Oingo Boingo was a theatrical troupe called the Mystic Knights. It was actually the Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo. In those very early days, we earned our living passing the hat on the street. There was like, actually we started it with 8 of us and it ended up being 12 of us, and we
great economics.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. And during that period, I actually earned my living by being a singing waiter, singing busboy waiter.
Okay. And
to get this job at this restaurant, you had to perform. So I played some violin, so I'd come out and play violin with one thing, and then I played trombone. I'd come out and do a little trombone. And then at a certain point later in the evening, I would sit down and I played a Scott Joplin rag. And that's the first piece on the piano that I ever actually tried to learn.
Could you still play it today?
Once a night? No. Oh my God. We're talking about, it was the end of World War I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
the prequel to World War I.
Yeah, 1919 in a little cafe in Paris.
You also have a portrait in your attic.
Yes, exactly.
You and Ken got them commissioned at the same time. Well, Brooke Gwynn on Facebook wanted to know, to what extent did Tim's illustrations and descriptions of Jack kind of assist in the writing process?
Really, the whole writing process was just that. It was Tim describing the scene as best he could and showing me illustrations. So the illustrations were not only just helpful, it really was the primary tool that I used, because there was no script, and he would just come over the house and he would start telling the story, and he would show me the pictures, and I would look at the pictures, and he would basically say, Jack is wandering in a forest and he's going to come across these 3 trees, and then, you know, as we know, he opens this door, he gets sucked in, and there is Christmas Town for the first time, and everything's surprising him, and he's seeing snow, and he's seeing this, and he's got the pictures, and between his storytelling and the pictures, I would just go off, write a song, and We wrote the music together really quickly. It was 1 month, top to bottom.
So Bifflesaurus on Instagram. You're familiar with the Bifflesaurus?
Of course.
I think it was Oliver's favorite growing up. He was curious as a composer and lyricist for this. Were you writing the lyrics first? Were you writing the music? What was that?
Yeah, that's another interesting question. And I don't even know if I could answer that. I think I'm thinking of a lyric and starting a tune, and then I've got a bit of a tune, and then I do more lyrics. Mm-hmm. But I think in the very beginning, there's something like, if it was, what's this? I'm hearing, well, he's looking around, he's going, what's this, what's this? And he leaves, Tim leaves, and I'm going, what's this, what's this? And there's the beginning. So I don't have all the words yet, but now I've got the beginning of a tune. Now, as I've got the tune, okay, there's my cadence. Mm-hmm. And there's white things in the air, what's this? There's something in the air, what's this? Lives isn't bitter, there's Jack, this isn't fair, what's this? And now it's all kind of starts coming together. Each other. Yeah, they inform each other. So it's not like I come up with the tune and then do the lyrics, and I certainly don't write the lyrics and then do the tune.
My favorite and final question is from Evan Brooks, and they're curious, what is your first or favorite Halloween costume?
My favorite Halloween costume would have to be my daughter Molly, who's now in her early 30s and a film producer. When she was about 14, I'm going to guess 13, 14, that age when you're kind of embarrassed by having your parents around. And it's like, we're going out to trick or treat. And she was already a little bit at that, yeah, okay. And I went hog wild that year. I mean, I did Quasimodo. I went and I got the prosthetic makeup, and I brought one eye down further, and I put on the rags and the hump, and I got a big rope, and that she would pull me around, she would carry me on this rope. And the idea is that I would like lunge after other kids, and she would yank me back. But she was like, Dad, oh my God.
And what was she dressed as?
I don't know.
Some sort of princess, perhaps. Or something.
Probably, you know. But she was at that self-conscious age where if I'd have gotten her a couple years earlier, she would have been totally into it. But at this age, she was like halfway between. Okay, I don't know. Right. This is kind of embarrassing. And you go, come on, Molly, just tug on the rope.
Bring your daddy Quasi with you. And did you say you would lunge after other children?
Yeah, that's the idea. As Quasi would go, and she would like jerk the rope.
The Elfmans were known in the neighborhood.
Yes, exactly.
And we should say that at these concerts, a lot of people come dressed as in costume.
Yes, a lot of people come in costume, and there's some really inventive costumes at the Halloween shows. I mean, not all of them are Nightmare Before Christmas. No. There's all kinds of things. In fact, a lot of Tim Burton stuff. You get, Beetlejuices and Jokers, and
there's some good Corpse Bride stuff.
Corpse Bride stuff.
Corpse Bride
it's
herself.
Really they represent the entire spectrum of Burton-esque characters.
And these shows are the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th of October, so they're right before Halloween.
Just before Halloween, the weekend before Halloween, so you can still do your trick-or-treating and come to the show. And
bring along your Quasimodo dad.
And bring your Quasimodo dad and like, Dad.
That's the tagline.
Oh my God.
Saturday's show is sold out, so we have added Sunday, and tickets are at Ticketmaster. Thank you again for the
You're
stories.
Welcome. Thank you.
You going to see everyone there?
The Nikki Kraft Show. Hey!